So anyway guys, so pretty much just kind of like follow up to this video. It's going to probably be 3 parts to this video, if not maybe 4. Probably just do it in 3 actually, to be fair. Somebody asked me before about the pipe layout of this job. So as you can see, just kind of running through it there. So you got the boiler flow coming off, coming down, tees off down to the two parts. Then it comes across through the heating zone valve, and then that is your open vent. Well, that's your flow down to your radiators, but the T going off upwards is your open vent. Then an air vent for some reason. Now this shit did throw me off a little bit later on. I actually thought I might have messed this up. And then that's your cold feed coming down to the cylinder return. Now they did used to do something similar to this on all the boilers. They used to have the I think they used to have the vent straight off the boiler on the flow, and then the cold feed straight on the boiler on the return. And I think their idea was if it started overheating and vented, it'd always pull in more cold water and just kind of go around in a circle. This was a bit of a mission, so obviously you're in like a townhouse, a big townhouse, like 5 floors. Then you get to the flat, then you walk up another set of stairs, then you literally get out a ladder, climb up into the loft space. So yeah, I was pretty knackered at this point, but my bag's too heavy. My bag weighed probably easily 20 kilos. So once you lug that bag up there, you're just blowing. Nice hot header tank, obviously far too full. You know, when you're filling up a header tank, people fill it up like it's a bloody cold water tank. Literally about a couple of centimetres over the outlet height is what you want it to be. So obviously it can take up the expansion. So I was giving the vent a little shake. I was still just kind of thinking, because I was still just kind of hoping that I had this all right, and I was correct. Because it's kind of always a bit of a thing when other people are being around messing around with it and you come in and have big ideas. And the pipe layout, it was so weird. I mean, I've never really seen an open vent pipe taken after a zone valve before. But I looked where that pipe ran and I could see most of it. I couldn't see all of the pipe. I could see probably like 80% of it. And there's only 4 radiators on the system, and they're all like downstairs because it's all one bloody level. It's a flat. So I was thinking, there's no way they'd have teed off of it, surely. So that was the pump, the original pump that obviously took out, cleaned out and snapped the front bit off of it and just banged it back in temporarily. Now this did obviously help quite a lot. It did manage to keep the boiler on to a certain degree. Whereas before it was always faulting out every hour or 2. That actually did stop the fault codes coming on for 24 hours, which is quite good. I'd say if you ain't got one of these little cow tongue things as well, you want to get one. Because they're actually really, really good. Very, very beneficial for stuff like this, where, you know, you've got some like arm's reach out of length. And, you know, you can't quite get a bucket in there, even maybe not flexible. You can always get a bag in there, but it's quite nice to bang that little cow's tongue in there, resting it down, just letting it kind of do its job, really. So I was kind of having like a bit of a fiddle around, really. Kind of see what kind of stuff was coming out there. I just undoing the bypass obviously again, I mean, look at that. Pop it up there, it's beautiful. So we just pulled the pump out. Obviously this is one way to take off olives. Now this is more of a, I don't know if this is more of an experienced way to take out olives than what it is where you kind of just wrap the grips around the olive. I think this way you got to be a little bit careful because you kind of got to know how much to squeeze. Because if you squeeze too much on crap pipe, or just squeeze too much in general at the wrong angle, or even just squeeze too much on, you know, not maybe a good connection there, you'll basically just split the pipe and then you're truly fucked. You'll absolutely just kill yourself. Obviously 15mm olives are the worst, 22mm olives are medium, 28mm you kind of take off with your hands. And the reason being is people generally don't have the strength to crush a 28mm olive, but 15mm I'd do all day. So yeah, that's pretty much what I kind of try and do. I find that's the fastest way to get olives off, to kind of pinch the grips in between the nuts and the end of the pipe. But you kind of have to know the limit as well. So I've been doing this a few years now, and I kind of can tell when I squeeze it if the olive's going to come off, and if it's not, I won't try and crush it even more, because I know I'll just destroy the pipe, and then I'm knackered. But that's one way to do it. I mean, you don't need all the olive colour and all that kind of crap. I have an olive splitter here. I've always had a 15. I did always want a 22, just in case I ever came across 22 one that I couldn't get off. And actually found one the other day inside the boiler. God knows why it was in the boiler, but you know, I took it anyway. So when you're putting compound on this type of stuff as well, put the nut on the pipe, then the olive, bit of compound, and your fittings on top. So that is just kind of me going through where the open vent was again, coming off the heating flow. I'm going to cut it roughly there. I mean, in reality, what in a perfect world, I'd obviously cut out the T and reconnect it with straight coupling. In an imperfect world, I'm going to cut it wherever I can and put a 22mm cap on it. And I'm going to basically take the coupling off the boiler, put a compression tee on it, and swing that across and make it my open vent. Now this is where I shit myself. I just couldn't have seen heating flow AAV, and now I'm thinking, shit, this is like a heating pipe, and they've put an AAV on it because it goes up and over, and they need it to circulate. Anyway, so that's where I ended up capping it off, nice and easy. Then I thought I'm going to use that AAV and connect my cold feed in there. So my cold feed was going in there. I just filled it up and I was like, what the fuck? Well, I was like running down the boiler. Turns out anyway, I didn't really cap off the old cold feed. So even though it wasn't being fed from there anymore, obviously it was backing up into it. So a little bit of fun sorting that out. And I was completely knackered as well. I had no caps, but what I did have was the old AAV. So I ended up just throwing that back on there, which actually helped out quite well. That's where I put in my T for the open vent. Now again, I did angle it up a little bit, but perfect world, you'd have come T straight off the top of the horizontal, not maybe straight off that vertical. That was the old shitty AAV that I managed to throw on the old cold feed because I didn't have no caps with me. That's me just having a little mess around there with the bypass and just turning it on. And so now when I'm setting a bypass, what I like to do is I'll have it fully closed. I'll turn on the heating and the hot water, and then I will turn them both off, and then I'll just open up the bypass valve enough so that it actually opens up. Depending on the system, I might open it up enough so it opens up when one zone valve closes. I mean, it's probably a more scientific way to do it, but I just feel that's like a general rule of thumb. Providing when your zone valve closes, you're getting a little bit of flow through there, it's beneficial. Obviously, if you've got some crazy system where you need a minimum flow rate through the boiler, you're just going to have the bypass valve fairly open just to keep the boiler happy, I suppose, making it act almost like a low loss header by giving itself a flow and a return. So you can kind of cheat it a little bit like that, I guess. With this job, the boiler runs and everything like that, but I think I'm going to end up probably power flushing it. I'm going to change the 4 radiators anyway, because one of them's got a hole in it. The other 3 on close for inspection, they are actually quite rusted out. Not where they've got holes in them, but you know, all the connections and stuff like that. So we'll swap them out as well, and then I'll probably will end up power flushing it, just because the system is very, very dirty.